Morning, welcome to Chasing the Apex. So today, as promised, we're going to take Bill Eason, the Lotus Evora GT, we're going to let him run through it and we're going to see what he comes up with. This should be pretty good. Now let's see if we can convince the Porsche expert that the British car is even worth his time.
Hey everybody, welcome to Chasing the Apex. Look what I have. Key to a brand new Lotus. Jason showed up and he wants me to drive the car. But I'm gonna go drive this thing, and it's a 2020 Lotus Evora GT. We're gonna drive it and give you some impressions of the driving and take it on my test track. And then I think a little later we're gonna take it out and do some canyons, but we've only got time for a short industrial space drive today. And then we're gonna get on the lift and peek up its skirt and see what we got. So let's hit this. Hey everyone, so welcome back. Here I am in the car, gonna take it for a drive. And one of the things I do when I get in and out of these cars, all cars with sport seats with nice bolsters, is I scoot the seat all the way back so that I don't damage the bolsters or the stitching or anything like that when I get in and out of the car and or scrape the threshold with my shoes. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine. It's not a big deal, but it makes the interior of the car last longer, looking better longer, and it's not that, it's not that hard to do. So I think the favorite thing I have about this car is the gearbox. Maybe that's not true. Maybe the suspension is the favorite part. The suspension is pretty spectacular. The gearbox is great though. It's precise, it's easy to shift. The weight might be just a touch heavy for my taste, but that's me. But the precision is really great. One of the things I really like about it is I like the Gearshift knob. Oftentimes you'll see a manufacturer or even an aftermarket guy or a hot rod guy put in a special contoured Gearshift knob, and it only works with one hand grip in one direction, and I dislike that. It's not fun. With a ball like this, you can push, pull any angle your wrist happens to take. It makes it really easy and intuitive, and it's not hard to do. So an upshift is nice and easy. It's great. Now we're going to downshift, pull it down. You don't have to force it, you don't have to grab it, you just kind of push it. And the spherical ball just makes it, any angle is comfortable, and I prefer that. That's something I really like. The pedal position is great. I can feel where my feet are all the time. Heel and toe is going to take a little bit of practice for me, because the way these pedals are set up is the gas pedal and the brake pedal are fairly close together, and the depth is almost equal. So all one has to do is roll their foot a little bit. Generally in the cars, I'm accustomed to the way I heel and toe brake is I push with the toe and I scoot my heel over to the side like an angle, and I goose the gas with the bottom with my heel. Whereas this car, you're going to want to put the ball of your right toe on the brake pedal, on the edge of the brake pedal, and then you just roll your foot sideways like that, and it'll just catch the gas pedal. And it's easy. It's really easy. But I might need a little bit more sensitive shoes to do this. I've got my sneakers on, which are pretty good, but that's me. It's not the car. The pedals are in a great position for heel and toe. It's just this one would have to adapt a little bit. Once again, I really like this gear shift. It's probably my favorite part of the car. The brakes are phenomenal. They're probably as big as the brakes on my 993 Turbo, which is, it's 20 years old now, but it's still 200 mile per hour car. Brakes work just fine for that. These are about the same size. come up to this next light, we're gonna make a left, we're gonna do a U-turn, but I'm gonna test the ABS coming into it first. And, oh yeah. Pulled a few G's there, pulled a few negative G's actually, on under braking, and track straight. I didn't try to change directions under braking. Jabber about the controls and everything. I'll take my sunglasses off because I can see better. We've got a nice overhang, so it's nice and dark. I like the steering wheel. I like the thickness of the steering wheel. It's got the bottom part is flat for people who are tall, not like me, or have long legs. Once again, not like me. So. And what I really do like, I mean, I love mid-engine cars. I've said that before. The wheels on this car are pushed all the way out to the corners of the car. So the wheels are the footprint of the car. It's really, really nice. It's really hard to upset the chassis. Under the car, and I've got my flashlight mounted. I've got this cool little flashlight with a magnet. I can do all kinds of neat things. And we're looking at the front suspension here. We've got big old radial mount brakes. They look like Brembos to me, but they're probably something similar to Brembo, but not quite Brembos. Big old sway bar. Looks like, I'd guess that's 23 millimeters. We've got a 4-link suspension, meaning we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 points where the front suspension connects to the car. And what that does is, as the tire is moving up and down while you're driving along, the suspension alignment deflects as little as possible so the suspension settings stay the same. It's got these beautiful yellow Bilsteins original on the car, not aftermarket. I usually put these on people's cars as an aftermarket upgrade, so that's pretty spectacular. This is a fun little detail. All these little green marks here, little green pen marks, those are quality control points for the people who are building the car. One person's coming through and he's gonna get all these and tighten them, and when he tightens them up to the specifications for the manufacturer, he puts a little green mark on it, so the person who comes behind him to check his work can go, okay, just visually can go, okay, somebody torqued that, somebody torqued that, somebody torqued that, somebody torqued that, and that's how they know. See, even in there and up here, you can see a quick visual check. Hey, everything got torqued. It's going to be a safe car to drive along. So that's great. Now let's go around to the rear of the car, and this is the direction that the wind comes, and these little vents here look like they're going to send a little bit of cooling air into the engine compartment, and that's fastening. There's shift cables, and in the rear we also have a 4-link suspension, but we have this here. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4 components up there, and then we've got this which controls the rear toe, and that changes the angle of the tires in the rear. And with a mid-engine car, rear toe is critical, and you can play around. It's very subjective, and it's a lot of fun to see which works best for what driver. That's pretty cool. So we're going to back out a little bit, and we're going to check out these tires. These tires are pretty crazy. These are Michelin's, and we've got a lot of meat here with no tread, so that's going to be a lot of contact surface. As you're loading the outside of the tire, as you're going around a corner, you get more and more traction here, and you don't need it here, and this is going to get the water out when you have in the rain. These are Michelin's, and they are Pilot Sport Cup 2s, so they're the latest sticky Michelin, which is pretty spectacular, pretty cool. I was very impressed driving them. And then, interestingly enough, the lug nuts are these star bolts, so you need a special tool to get the wheels off, and I don't have that tool. I went through all my star tools, and I don't have the right ones, so we can't take the wheels off to really look at the brakes, but they're pretty big. They're monsters, and they're radial mounts and 3-piece. This is so that the rotor can expand and contract and not warp. It's less likely to warp. So that's what that is. Now we're gonna... Hey everybody, welcome back. So I just got back from driving that car. My first impressions are, wow, that's a fun car to drive. The suspension is amazing. Check it out. My initial takeaways on the car are the suspension is amazing. I mean, Lotus is known for their suspension, and I showed you that 4-link suspension on the lift when the car was on the lift. And I could talk about that all day. I love the geometry, I love the intricacies of the 4-link suspension, and they did a great job. They pulled it off really well, and the way the wheels are pushed out all the way to the corners of the car, it feels like the car is just planted to the road. I couldn't get the car upset. Not that you really want the car to be upset, but you kind of push around, try to get it squirrely, and it couldn't happen. So I'm really looking forward to the canyon driving, and we'll do some higher speeds, some more sweepers, and some transitions and things like that. And we'll see where it goes. So until then, thanks for watching.
So thanks for watching Chasing the Apex. I hope you enjoyed. We worked real hard to put this together. I want to give again thanks to Simon at Lotus, Tom at Boardwalk Lotus, and Lotus UK for making this work for us. Stay tuned, because now we're going to take her to her natural habitat. And I've got a feeling she's going to do what she needs to do, and she'll be better than I am. Thanks for watching Chasing the Apex.